Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another counter side video. Alright, today's video, we're gonna talk about Booba Queen. Alright, why are we talking about Booba Queen? Isn't ALSY coming this week, right? So yes, I know Awaken Lee Soo-yeon is coming this week, and I am very well aware of that, and I'm sure majority of you guys are as well. So I don't think it's spoiling anything at this point, but if you play through the story, alright, if you play through the event, and I hope I'm not spoiling anything again. I know some of you guys haven't played this story or haven't read the story, you just skip through this, but if you go through the story in one section right here, this is not going to spoil anything in the story, don't worry, alright? So, in the part of the story, then there's this part where it says the old clothes, the war costume on Lee Soo-yeon is a bit tight on her. And then apparently Lee Soo-yeon is kind enough to help the boss to set up a Netflix account so that the boss can actually use it in the office, right? But the important part, you can put the old uniform away. I can't let my precious vice president use obsolete piece of gear, and she will be getting a new gear, a new outfit. So that pretty much tells us that ALSY is coming soon. Alright, it's like either this week or next week. It's just a matter of time, and a lot of you guys are most likely saving for her, and I don't blame you guys because she is really strong, being a 5-cost ranger. And a lot of comparison that I've seen being thrown around is a comparison between ALSY or ASY. Alright, Awaken Lee Soo-yeon or Awaken Seo-yoon, which is a character that, many of you guys have already obtained. She's really strong, she's a really tanky ranger, and I don't think it's a fair comparison because Seo-yoon is a 6-cost Awaken unit, whereas ALSY is a 5-cost Awaken unit. So I've already done an entire video talking about ALSY's kits, how she's good in the battle. If you guys haven't watched that video, I'll try to link it right here in the description below, and you can just click right here in the card on the top right of the video. But in this video, I think I want to bring forward a little bit in case you guys might want to consider to skip ALSY and wait for the Booba Queen instead. Now, I strongly believe in the power of Booba. Alright, if you guys look at my home screen, look at this massive Booba right here. I'm a big fan of Booba, if you guys don't know already. So if someone like Replacer Booba were to ever come, of course, I'll be pulling for her. You can bet your ass I'll be one of the first players to pull for Replacer Booba. I actually like Replacer Booba's design. She's one of the best character in the game. I know she's a villain and all in the story, but I think it's a much more fair comparison for us to compare between Replacer Queen and ALSY because they are both 5-cost units. Alright, and that's going to be a much more fairer comparison. Now in terms of the class, they are both different. ALSY is a ranger, whereas Replacer Queen right here is a sniper. And she's a 5-cost sniper, and she is able to do way more than a lot of 4-cost snipers that we have right now. Alright, and I think Xiaolin is something that a lot of players have right now in terms of snipers. I think a lot of players like Xiaolin. Xiaolin is 4-cost. Having that 1-cost extra, what do you get? Alright, so let's talk about her kits, her stats, her Booba, and we can stare at her Booba later in the Awakening entrance animation because I think she has a very cool one. She has a very insane looking one. But first things first, stats, right? 31,000 HP, 7.2k attack, alright? And then you can see she has defense and evasion is not that high. 300, almost 400 defense and 500 evasion. But the hit though, the crit, which is 50% right here, which is a pretty decent chunk right there. Because having this high amount of crit, meaning that she has a 50% chance to crit. Every one of her 2 attacks will actually deal crit damage. Which, if you want to, you can actually go for crit damage build. But I think attack speed is going to be better. We're going to talk about the kit slowly. The main gist here is hit is quite high. And I can bring up Xiaolin. Xiaolin has 19,000 HP. Whereas she has almost like, 11,000 more. She has 7.2k attack, which is really high. Very similar to Yomina. Xiaolin does have slightly more, 500 more attack, but then she has way more survivability. Replacer Queen has this 400 defense, Xiaolin has almost no defense, evasion 56 Xiaolin, but Replacer Queen has 500. So that means you can't really kill Replacer Queen with Kang. You can't just, I'm gonna and use Kang and destroy Replacer Queen. It's impossible to do that. With Xiaolin you can, and that 4 cost will be gone just like that, poof. But with Replacer Queen, you have a really strong sniper. I strongly believe once Replacer Queen comes out, she will be the strongest sniper in the entire game. Like literally, there's no comparison. Until maybe Awakened Amy comes. Alright, let's jump into some practice mode, show you guys what she's capable of. Okay, first things first, I want to show this really cool entrance animation. I actually like her entrance animation a lot. Look at this. She just walk casually, boom, and explode. I really like that. I really like that. That is really cool. Now, as you can see, very far range. Alright, very similar to Xiaolin, of course. And that's basically the passive, that chains thing. So let me explain what's happening right here on the screen. So first things first, basic attack. She has only valid hits of 1, and she will fire a projectile to inflict damage to the target. Pretty simple stuff right there. But the passive is what makes her so cool. Alright, so you see that chain thing? That is the passive skill. Okay, the first part of the passive is basically anyone that dies in the battlefield is going to increase her skill haste by 1%, up to 15%. So that means whoever that dies, either be it your enemy or your allies, that will increase her skill haste by 1%. And once 15 units dies, she will get extra 15% skill haste, just like that. Alright, basic attack hits 4 times. And after every 4 basic attacks, she will cast a knockback to the enemy and stun the target for 3 seconds and seal them, which is that chain skill you saw earlier. This particular one, but it doesn't affect bosses and ships. Let me see if I can show it to you. So 1, 2, 3. So that chain will stun this guy, right? After every 4 basic attacks. So not only does it stun, it also steals their skill. I know it's only for 3 seconds, but that's already something that's really strong moving forward. So at skill level 5, for this particular passive, if you max it out, when you reach 15 stacks for the buff, the unit that dies is going to reduce your ultimate skill cooldown by 1 second each. So the more unit that dies, it's not only going to increase your skill haste, but it's also going to reduce your ultimate skill cooldown by 1 second per unit. So that is quite broken if you ask me. Quite broken. The main part of her kit right here, as you can see, is basically this stun right here. Every time she does this enhanced attack, it stuns the enemies. It's just so annoying to deal against. Now the chain is the passive skill, but this particular skill right here, boom, that is her special skill. Alright, the special skill is every time she releases energy, alright, damage targets is stunned for 2 seconds. And at skill level 5, the damage target will get debuff, and the incoming damage received by them will increase by 15% for 10 seconds. That is just insanely cool. So basically her entire kit revolves around these 2 stuns that she has. One on the special skill, one on the passive skill enhanced attack, right? She's just a stun monster that's able to constantly deal this massive damage, constant stun at a very far range as well, being a sniper. So that's just way better than a lot of snipers we have right now. And let's have a look at the ultimate skill. Look at this. Alright, very cool. Boom. As you can see, there's a lot of CC right there, right? A lot of CC right there. Basically, she summons this sphere to track down the enemy, inflicts damage several times. So the ultimate skill has a valid hits of 3, and based on the more attack it hits, the more it will boost her attack as well. So attack plus 1% for every number of targets, which is really crazy. The more targets she hits with her ultimate, this will increase her attack even more. And also, keep in mind of her passive, right? Her passive, basically, you know, the more units die, it's also able to reduce the ultimate skill cooldown, and it's just all the skills relates to each other in a very significant way. I really like her kit overall. She's really good, really strong. Once she's on the battlefield, she's going to be an insane monster. The longer you leave her be on her own, the more annoying she's going to be in the long run. So I think she's something that you gotta have to deal with. And if you're thinking of the best way to counter her, if I'm not mistaken, Kang So-young or Elizabeth will not be able to one-shot her consistently, but the more consistent unit that can deal with her is going to be Awakened Yo Mina. Now the big question is, do you pull for her? Alright, now that you know what she's able to do, or do you go for ALSY? That's totally up to you. If I were you, here's what I would do, right? I would still pull for ALSY if she were to come this week or next week. Go all in on ALSY. But if you don't get her, at least you stack your PT for hopefully Replacer Queen right here, which should be, ideally should be, the next Awakened unit. Alright, so with that being said, let me know what you guys think of the two units. If you can choose one, who would you pick? As always, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.